Hollywood once decided he was finished. Written off. Blacklisted. Forgotten. But in 2025, Katt Williams is living a life most Hollywood stars can't touch. Multi-million-dollar homes. Apocalypse-ready supercars. Diamond jewelry loud enough to silence rooms. And yet Katt Williams keeps saying the same thing, never look up my net worth. That warning only made people more curious, because Katt Williams is a walking contradiction. A man who once slept on park benches. A man arrested, sued, and dragged through headlines. And somehow, the same man now holds a level of wealth and freedom that makes Hollywood uncomfortable. So how rich is Katt Williams really? Where does his money come from? And why does a man who refuses the system keep winning? This is not just a story about money. This is a story about power, survival, and a man who never bowed. Katt Williams was born Micah Williams in 1971 in Cincinnati, Ohio, into a strict Jehovah's Witness household where discipline came before individuality. Questioning was not allowed, but Micah questioned everything. By age 3, he was reading fluently. Not sounding out words, reading. That kind of independence made him dangerous. At just 13 years old, Micah made a decision most adults never have the courage to make. He legally emancipated himself from his parents. No running away. No safety net. From that moment on, he was alone. He drifted across the country with no money, no degree, and no protection. He sold goods on the street, slept on park benches, and lived under constant police scrutiny. His teenage years were filled with arrests and minor charges that would follow him for life. This wasn't romantic struggle, it was survival. On the streets, Micah learned a truth no school teaches. Everyone has fear, everyone has weakness, and laughter breaks defenses faster than force. Comedy wasn't a dream. It was a weapon. His real turning point came in brutal comedy clubs and traveling circus shows where crowds were unforgiving and failure meant humiliation. That environment sharpened him. Micah Williams disappeared. Katt Williams was born. Katt didn't tell jokes to comfort people. He dissected power, religion, money, and hypocrisy. His comedy made people laugh and squirm. By the late 1990s, clubs filled. By the mid-2000s, he exploded with stand-up specials across HBO, Comedy Central, and Netflix. A single small show could earn him $100,000 a night. A Netflix special, nearly $10 million. But instead of trading freedom for contracts, Katt did something unheard of. He self-funded his first special, The Pimp Chronicles PT1, investing just $22,000. No networks. No permission. It became a cult classic and built the foundation of his independent empire. Today, Katt Williams still sells out arenas on the Dark Matter Tour. Venues from 3,000 to over 10,000 seats. Tickets averaging $120 to $150. One night can generate over $1 million. And thanks to viral clips, a new generation is discovering him, not as nostalgia, but as truth-teller. Hollywood noticed, but only after Katt stood firm without them. His breakout role as Money Mike in Friday After Next made him a pop culture icon. He was homeless at the time, living out of his car. Most of his lines were improvised. Hollywood couldn't control him, only capture lightning. From there came films like Norbit, First Sunday, and Scary Movie 5. Debated quality, same result. Katt stole every scene. Even his voice alone became legendary as a pimp named Slickback in the Boondocks. When people thought he faded, he returned quietly, and won an Emmy for Atlanta. No hype. Just confirmation. Yet the real money never came from Hollywood. It came from the stage. Google claims Katt Williams is worth around $20 million in 2025. Katt says otherwise. In his 2024 interview with Shannon Sharpe, he openly laughed at the number and revealed he had turned down $50 million deals, 4 times, to protect his independence. That's when the question stopped being about net worth. It became about power. Because money can be hidden. Assets can't. Katt once owned a $4.6 million mansion in Calabasas, 6,000 square feet, celebrity neighbors, resort-style pool, private basketball court. It symbolized peak success. It was later foreclosed, becoming a hard lesson in control and excess. Today, he lives quietly in Georgia. Modest. Minimal. Peaceful. A home built for living, not proving. And then there's the garage. An Apocalypse 6x6 Hellfire truck. Joker-themed. Built for chaos. A message on wheels. A Polaris slingshot. Raw, exposed, impossible to ignore. A Plymouth Prowler. Strange, rejected, unapologetic. A Rolls-Royce Dawn that speaks without words. And a Lamborghini Huracan built purely for adrenaline. Katt Williams doesn't collect approval. He collects freedom. Katt Williams' rail story was never about jokes or money. It's about what happens when a man refuses to bow, takes every hit, and survives long enough to outlast everyone who tried to erase him. Look at how Katt moves through the world. His garage alone tells the story. A Lamborghini Huracan with a roaring V10 mounted inches behind the driver's seat. Violent acceleration, reckless speed, raw intent. Next to it sits the Rolls-Royce Spectre, the first fully electric Rolls in history. No noise. No drama. Just quiet dominance. That car isn't for the newly rich. It's for people who no longer need to prove anything. Altogether, Katt Williams cars are worth over $1.2 million. But the number doesn't matter. None of them were bought to imitate anyone else. Every choice is personal. Every choice says the same thing. I move on my own terms. That message continues when he walks into a room. Jewelry isn't decoration for Katt, it's language. Heavy diamond chains worth hundreds of thousands blaze under stage lights, not subtle, not polite, impossible to ignore. Oversized rings dominate his hands like crowns. His watches tell the same story, a gold Rolex Day-Date for legacy, an Audemars Piguet Royal Oak offshore for aggression, a diamond-encrusted Hublot Big Bang for defiance. Different styles. Same message. Time belongs to me. His fashion is just as loud. Tailored Gucci suits with Baroque embroidery. Silk Versace shirts that refuse to blend in. Red-soled Christian Louboutins sharp as his punchlines. And always the fedora, custom-made, instantly recognizable. Sometimes that shadow alone tells people Katt Williams has entered the room. But luxury was never the full story. Running alongside the lights, money, and laughter is something darker. Controversy that never lets go. In 2019, Katt revealed he had lost roughly $59 million to embezzlement. Managers. People he trusted. Money siphoned away quietly over years. What stunned the public wasn't just the loss, it was the question. If Katt was only worth $20 million, as the internet claimed, where did $59 million even come from? No courtroom showdown. No clear resolution. Just silence and suspicion. From that moment on, Katt trusted no system but his own. And the chaos didn't start there. It stretched back more than a decade. In 2006, he was arrested at LAX after a stolen firearm was found in his bag. His career was exploding, and suddenly so were the headlines. Probation. Jail time. The first crack in the public image. Then came the years that followed, arrests in Georgia, Oakland, Seattle. Fights. Allegations. Bizarre footage of Katt fleeing police on a three-wheeled vehicle turned into a punchline for everyone except him. In 2012, child endangerment allegations pushed his life to the edge. His adopted children were placed in temporary protective custody. Many thought it was over. The case collapsed. No conviction. But the damage lingered. What separates Katt Williams from other fallen stars is simple. After every arrest, he went back on stage. No apology tour. No image rehab. No begging for acceptance. Just a microphone, and 3 words, I'm still here. And he was. What people forget is that behind the chaos is a father. Katt Williams has 10 children, 1 biological, 9 adopted. He adopted because no one protected him growing up. He made a promise that if he survived, he'd pull others with him. Even during legal trouble, even under media attack, he never walked away from being a father. By 2025, Katt Williams stands alone. No marriage. No public relationship. Every past relationship collapsed under the weight of his lifestyle. Freedom, controversy, the stage. But fatherhood never collapsed. In 2025, tragedy struck again when comedian Reggie Carroll, who toured with Katt, was killed. Later that year, Katt appeared on the IMO podcast with Michelle Obama and Craig Robinson. He spoke openly about loss, childhood, responsibility, and raising children who weren't biologically his. For once, the armor slipped, and a human being stood underneath. Then came the confirmation no one could deny. The Golden Age Tour, announced for 2026. Over 25 cities. Arena venues. Massive demand. Proof that Katt Williams isn't a relic, he's a force. A man who slept on park benches. A man arrested, ridiculed, written off. A man who lost tens of millions and still wasn't erased. Katt Williams doesn't live to be liked. He lives to stay free. And maybe that's why, love him or hate him, when the lights come on, your eyes still find him. So the real question is this. Do you still respect Katt Williams? This was just the beginning. Hit that subscribe button and buckle up. Digital Garage has so much more in store.